So here's some of the engagements that Trump has had with the bankers, your Deutsche Bank, your big banks, okay, your Federal Reserve. He knows the inside world of this. And if you listen to your haters, okay, they're going to say, yeah, he's in with them and everything. No, I don't think so, because his life work doesn't show that. It doesn't show that he's ever trying to screw the everyday people over. Now, I think this is a big distraction right now. I really do, but in a way, it's not, because it's part of taking pharma down. Yeah, because all of these people, pharma, like your politicians, yes, you can blame them because they're just weaklings who gave in to lobbyists, but really the people that are pushing the tyranny on us is your corporations. They are, because they've all monopolized. That's why what my very first video on YouTube was called "Scumbag in a Nice Suit." I was referring to the president of Northwestern. Just saying. I mean, you know, he was on all these global boards. So I saw it a couple of years. I saw it 3 years ago, what he was on board with, and yet he's like on Northern Trust Bank, and I mean he's on so many boards, and all globalist boards, and one of them, which I keep trying to find, but it's one that's not easily found. It's some brain initiative thing, you know, along the lines of all that crap World Economic Forum wants to do with surveillance, and given that he put blacklisted cameras in all of his hospitals, but no other hospital has done that, yeah, I could see him being on that board. He's somebody that has too much money, and before you could take somebody like that into custody or want to arrest because of trying to overthrow the Constitution. I mean, like, all these people think that because they have all this money, they can do whatever they want. Like, they think they can just disregard what our founders wrote for this country. So, but you have to break their billionaire status first. So you let them continue, and that may seem harsh to people, because I think that people think, well, no, he should do this, he should do that. People are. Do you really think there's that many people taking this right now? I mean, I don't think there's ever been really that many people, but regardless, it doesn't really matter at this point. I think there's enough people that don't want to take any of them anymore. They're sick of all of it. They're sick of the COVID nonsense. I think most people, regardless of party, but when you're at war, you're going to have casualties. It's an unconventional war. So he either does everything you want him to do, because you think that, no, this makes him a horrible person. No, if he's playing the long game, then he saves more in the end. Because had he not come along at all, none of us would be awake. We would all be in this hybrid type environment they want to put everybody in, where everything will be within 15 feet of where you live, and you're separated and you're surveilled with wearable device. I mean, really, we would already be in that place. So stop your hate at him and realize that he is a strategic person. And he has been most of his life. In fact, I watched, even before he was president, these people have been going after him, and they say, oh, he doesn't pay contractors. He didn't, some of them, because they didn't finish on time or they did a shitty job. And he said, I wouldn't pay then. Okay? So, but he's like, for the people that I did, he's like, I gave them more. And I've heard people say that's true about him. So, what I'm trying to say is that some of the bad you don't hear that really it benefited the good. That's sort of my point. What he does with all those billions is good. Everybody has this image that he's just out for himself and he's a narcissist. No, he's not. No, he's not. Nobody that is a narcissist could handle what he handled. No, I don't know anybody that could handle all that hate. But he's been so investigated even before he got into office. And he made sure during the Hillary Clinton debate to tell you that it's because of your guys' policies that I'm able to get all the tax breaks. So, nobody would be awake. We would all be in wearable device. So just stop with wanting to say he didn't do this right, he didn't do that right. Really, what you should be screaming about is these pharmaceutical companies that have been taking all of our money and doing things that are totally unethical, okay? I mean, instead of, oh, Trump did, he's still supporting. I mean, it's like you're just looking for something to go after one man he's the one man that woke people up. I mean, it's like you're just thinking of in this moment. Like, look long term, look long. So, Trump had a university right before he got elected, and they were going after him for fraud. But really, and supposedly there was these 6,000 students, yeah, except they don't name any of them. But really, it was New York going after him, okay? And I watched this deposition from a couple years ago. There was one they just posted today with that Letitia James, who she's just another criminal. She got elected, and I'm going to do everything to take Trump down. Well, back in August when they disposed him for something else, that just came out earlier today. And he basically just took the fifth, but he said he read it, but you could tell he's fed up. But what he shows you, I think you have to look at it like he's showing a side of him not to con the people, but because he wants the people that are the criminals to see a certain side and form their little opinions of him, because he's going to prove them all wrong in the end. He will. He already has been doing that, because they haven't, they would have, if they could have taken him down, they would have. They haven't. So they are just doing illegal things. But because they have the power, money, and control and influence in their pocket, you have to bankrupt them before you can do anything else, because what good would it do? Makes sense? It does to me. So with Trump, the deposition from, it wasn't 2 years ago, it was over 6 years ago. Trump University isn't open anymore, but it wasn't an accredited university. So that's why New York went after him. And look at it now. Like, to me, the nursing accreditation, a total disgrace. But then that's the same with your education accreditation. This accreditation thing is just another money laundering thing. It really is, because they're not legit organizations. I said a while back in a video that I know 2 nurses that, they were LPNs or CNAs, and now they finally passed. But one that's a great, great nurse, and right before she had taken it, the state boards 4 times, was an A student in school, yet failed 4 times. That's just impossible. And somebody else that was an A student failed 9 times. No, that's your corrupt credentialing board, your corrupt system that's on board with this global agenda that's doing that so they can continue to push this, nurse shortage shit, because they want guaranteed income. The last thing you want is any of these hospitals to get guaranteed income. If anything, what would really be good is if the COVID emergency stopped. So, because they're relying on that, and that's one way you can help break their them financially. So Trump had said in this deposition for Trump University, okay, and this person was just trying to go after him. He was talking about stuff that had nothing to do with the university, and Trump's lawyer kept saying that, and Trump was like, you know what, I'd rather just let's go to court. He ended up settling on the case, but he said the only reason he did is because he was running for president, and he said otherwise he would have loved to have fought it and he would have won. But he said in that deposition, or the guy asked him, he said, you always say good things about like Jeb Bush, and think this is way before he was elected. So yes, and he said he donated to both sides, and he has said in his books, the reason he did is he wouldn't be able to get anything done. He couldn't do any of his building or real estate, because that's the way the mob works, is the politicians are the mobsters, the unions are the mobsters, so you got to work within that system. And one of the things he said is, yes, I praised Hillary Clinton, I've praised Jeb Bush, I've praised many people. He said, I would rather be on the positive side about people, but he said I had to do that to get what I needed done, because otherwise you can't do business at all in New York. So I would just say that when he's praising everyone, don't just assume that it means what you think it means. And when he's not praising somebody, I would take that to the bank. So like when he says Ron DeSanctimonious, I would definitely 100% put my money on Trump, because if he's saying that, then he absolutely is saying it for a reason, because he said he'd rather be positive. And I think shows that.